You're listening to the We Are Libertarians podcast network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com.
Is he taking a shit?
Is he taking a shit? We don't know. I think he's taking a shit.
He's taking a shit.
I think he's taking a shit, everyone. Oh my God. Let's go.
Let's go.
Truly alpha energy.
That was the fast shit with your Zoom on?
That was the fastest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Put your head down. Were you taking a shit just now?
That was so fast.
Why are you laughing? Were you you taking a shit when you logged on?
No. I was saying, let me put my video shit on. I was grabbing my webcam.
We thought we heard you say, I'm going to turn my video off while I take a shit.
Well, I mean, hey.
And then all we heard was some moaning in the background, and we were like, he's taking a shit.
That's the fastest shit I've ever heard and seen.
Okay, you know what? Now I actually have to go take a shit. I'll be back in a second.
All right, understood.
Prepare yourself. You're on the run with Remso W. Martinez.
You're probably asking yourself, hey, it's already February. Where was the Degenerate Panel in January? Well, we've got a frickin' story for you. Welcome once again. I'm Remso W. Martinez, and you're listening to On the Run. I've got the Degenerate Panel here, 1/4 Persian said, Sean of the Military Industrial Complex, and not tonight's producer, Derek. We will be discussing what went down in January. But I feel the honor goes to one man, the man who planned it all and made it possible as we ventured into Sin City as four wanderers alone in the desert with a whole bunch of strangers and a bit of alcohol in between. Sean, kick it off. The bachelor party is complete. You did it. You exceeded all expectations. We're all eternally grateful. When I told you almost a year ago that I wanted to do Vegas hangover style, what were your thoughts?
Honestly, I grabbed it by the balls. I was like, you know what? I don't care if he's kidding or not. We're going to Vegas, and I'm gonna put it on motherfucking steroids. That's what I said.
Motherfucking steroids, you heard?
Motherfucking steroids.
I don't know. Where should we begin, guys? Where should we begin?
I think we should start at the beginning.
Yeah, the airport.
Okay.
Any cool airport stories?
So, okay, like some money was being dropped on this trip, and
oh yeah, 100%.
I wanted to show up in style, so let's rewind a little bit. We were looking at hotels. Sean, where did we start and where did we end up?
Okay, so honestly, when I was looking up hotels, I was like, you know what? I don't want little kids. I don't want casino traffic and everything. And you know what? Just came to me. Trump Hotel. We had to do Trump Hotel.
Bam.
Huge.
Yeah, it was the best hotel.
It's literally a giant golden dick that you see from the sky, and it is so awesome. Like, it's so giant and gold and erect.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the strip, and ironically, what's behind it is an erotica museum. So, you know, it's about what you get. But my gosh, we originally looked at the Caesar, like what they had done in The Hangover. But like Sean said, like we wanted somewhere where we could kind of just retire at the end of the day. And it was just as beautiful. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. But to get to the Trump Hotel, so we all landed like within 10 minutes of each other. Prior to, I think, about 2 weeks out, when we were trying to figure out, you know, like how much were we going to have to budget towards Ubers and everything, good friend Mark Claire, co-host Second Print Comics, went ahead and told me after I brought up that I was going to be in Vegas. He was like, you know, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Long story short, he knew a guy. And he provided me with the guy, and the guy connected me with a guy who's a personal driver. And we were picked up by by a black Escalade by this dude who wore a suit and everything. It was as pimpin' as possible. Because listen, if you're gonna go to Vegas, at least I was like, let's show up to the Trump International looking like freaking ballers. It was freaking awesome. Zed, when you finally were like, oh my gosh, we got a private driver in this like Mafia Dawn Escalade, what were your thoughts about it? Are you like, is RJ joking about this? Like, is he actually gonna do this? Or holy shit, he actually did it?
Well, when I saw the Escalade, it was kind of cool. Our driver was a very interesting character.
We're going to call him Argyle.
Argyle.
Yeah, Argyle was a great driver.
In reference to the diehard limo driver. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty chill, just shooting the shit with the driver. Ask him about, what's cool to do here? What's the crazy shit you saw in Vegas? And
It was a great ride. It was nice to be picked up in luxury. But what was crazy about this is, I've never ordered a private freaking black car driver to pick me up at any point in my life. The nicest I ever got, the nicest ride I ever got was a Uber ride in a BMW. That was about it. But the guy picks us up and he's like, "Hey man." Well, let me rewind a little bit. How I accidentally called him a motherfucker. So. The Vegas airport is several different concourses, and it can get kind of complicated in terms of finding where to actually get picked up because there are multiple Uber zones and limo pickup zones. So I had been calling him, and he's like, "Go down this way, and you'll find me at the limo pickup zone." And we're trying to find it, and I'm looking at the guys, and I'm like, "Guys, I can't find it. Like we're running a little bit late." So I'm getting a little bit frustrated. Derek says something, and I'm like on the phone with Argyle, and I turn to Derek. I'm like, "Motherfucker, shut up!" As I'm trying to concentrate, trying to get my zone to figure this shit out. Well, Argyle thought I called him a motherfucker. So he's like, "Sir?" I'm like, "No, I wasn't calling you a motherfucker." So long story short, we found where the limo pickup area was. So as soon as I see him, he's like, "I'm blue suit, black Escalade." I'm like, "Hey, man." And he looks at me, and I'm like, "I was not calling you a motherfucker. I was calling him a motherfucker." And that's to set the tone for the whole thing. He took it in stride and laughed. But he drives us out, and within like 2 minutes, he's like, "What you guys want to do? You want to pick up some liquor?" And I look back at Sean, and I'm like, "I think we want to pick up some liquor." So we pick up some Wild Turkey whiskey and some Michelob Ultra. And at that point, I'm like, we just paid more for alcohol than I think I've ever paid for alcohol in my life because Vegas liquor is expensive. And then here was the real kicker. We get back in the car, and he's like, "Hey, before I drop you off at your hotel, are you hungry?" And I'm like, "This guy's my best friend." And we're asking, like, what's the best place to kind of go eat here if we're only in Vegas for a couple days? And he was like, "What are you in the mood for?" Now, Zed, Derek, you guys had never been that far out west, right? That was your first time in Nevada.
That was my first time in Nevada, yeah. I mean, I'd been to California once, but I've never been to Nevada.
Yeah, this is my first time out west or southwest.
Yeah, it looks like Mars, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a different planet.
It's like Dune. The movie Dune.
The Dune.
That's the best way to describe it. Nevada's a lot like Arizona. I'm from Arizona. Sean went to the University of Arizona and his family there. So we were a bit accustomed to it. So I realized that for Derek and Zed, this was my opportunity to like shock the hell out of them in like the best way possible. So immediately I'm thinking they have to try real Mexican food because all they've grown up with is Uncle Julio's and Taco Bell. So I asked Argyle, I'm like, where's the best Mexican place? And he's like, "Do you want a real high end place or do you want like a hole in the wall?" And immediately Zed is like, we want like a mom and pop place. So Argyle's just like, "Say no more." And he takes us to the hood part of Vegas. And we go to like this little cantina restaurant where all the waiters and waitresses dress like mariachi singers. And immediately I was like, "Oh, this is where the gringos don't go." But the food was freaking amazing. We hadn't eaten all day. And, Zed, just give us your thoughts as soon as we walked in. I forgot the name of this place, which is shitty, but maybe it's best that way. Best to be a mystery.
It was a very Mexican name. Like, it was like a...
Casa Bonita.
No, it was like more... It wasn't in Spanish. It was kind of like those native languages they speak in Mexico. It sounded kind of like that. But yeah, first impressions, I open the door and the door bites me and I start bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, Zed got hurt first on the trip.
Walk us
We all thought it'd be me, and it was him.
Walk us through that. This was the first casualty.
Okay, so we were all walking into a restaurant. I was the last one in the group to walk into a restaurant, but being the courteous person I am, I held the door open for a person walking out. So right as I hold the door open, I feel like a weird metallic sensation on my ring finger of my right hand. I'm like, oh, I think nothing of it. I probably hit the door a little hard, or, push the door a little hard. And then, the people walk out and they're like, thank you. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. And then I walk into a restaurant and I feel like a wet feeling on my finger. I'm like, what's that? And I look at my finger and literally the door ripped a chunk out of my finger and I'm bleeding everywhere.
It wasn't like, a paper cut. Like there was blood coming down his wrist and everything. We were like, what did you do?
This is day one.
Literally,
This is hour one.
It bit a chunk of my skin off of my finger, like the tip of my finger. So basically, while you guys were sitting there taking it all in, I'm just here trying to control the bleeding. I'm like, you got any Band-Aids, or you got a bathroom around here?
Fatality. Bleeds out in Vegas. 20 minutes in. But that place freaking rocked. Now,
Honestly, yeah, best Mexican food I've ever had.
Yeah.
100%.
Now this was the opportunity for this whole weekend was going to be us trying to do new things, experience new types of stuff. Derek, we got him to eat beef tongue, and Derek, it's about time I
loved it, actually.
It's about time I be honest with you, because I'm like, Derek is like, what should I get? What's really authentic? And I look at the menu and I'm like, what's the weirdest shit here? So
I liked it though.
Derek,
I
you should try
good.
beef tongue. Beef tongue is delicious. Derek, it's time I'm honest with you, and I planned it just for this. I've never had beef tongue in my life.
That's fair. I figured you did.
Really? I thought you were actually being honest. I'm like, wow, RJ is actually recommending something I haven't even tried.
You know what?
I hear I like liver, so I didn't think the beef tongue would be bad, but look, I've had some type of tongue before. I've never had that before, but I was like, I want to see if he's actually going to go for this.
My brain said, when you said beef tongue, I was like, you know what? That sounds good. And honestly, I was like, if there's any place to try it, it's here, because it's a very authentic Mexican place. These are some of the best chips I've ever had. Honestly, there's really fucking good chips. And I thought their tacos were going to be great, which I had a very bad experience with tacos once, and I was like, this place isn't going to give me that. It's going to have good tacos.
You want to explain the taco story at the last bachelor party you went to?
Oh, fuck it. Why not?
More beef tongue.
We'll do it live.
So we'll do it live.
Damn it. The chips are good.
So this wasn't at Vegas, but it was at my brother's bachelor party. And we rented out a lake house for a weekend at Lake Norman. And we go to this lakeside bar, and that's the first thing we do. We get there, we go to lakeside bar because we're hungry, we want to eat something, and we all get a beer, and we all have a maker shot, and then we all order food. Now I was like, you know what, tacos sound good, so I get these tacos, and I kid you not, these were the worst tacos I've ever had in my entire goddamn life.
What was so bad about them? Because I've seen we've all had Taco Bell tacos, and those suck, but they hit the spot.
Well, see, I ate them and they tasted awful. Now, I smelled them and I started to feel nauseous just off of after a few bites, and I'm like, but here the problem I had was, I knew how much drinking we were going to do on this party. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to eat food again. So I'm like, I got to eat something just to have something in my stomach. And so I was like, I tried to stomach it. And I'm halfway through it, I'm like, no, fuck this. I can't go any further. But then my stomach feels terrible. And I go to the bathroom because I thought I had to just take a shit or something. But then it gets worse because I puke everywhere. And I mean everywhere in that goddamn bathroom. I did not make it to a toilet. I just puked everywhere. It was terrible. And then
Was it like a projectile vomit, or is it like when like toddlers vomit, where it's
projectile
just and it's like bleh.
projectile? It was awful. I kid you not. And like I went back to the bar. I basically told my brother and his friends what happened, and like I was like I puked in there, and like they're like, "You what?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, I just feel god awful. Like the bartender feels bad for me. So she gets me into our water just to like help me out. And like she's like, "Do you want me to get my manager?" And I was like, I didn't want to like interrupt the trip, but like
Derek, at least you didn't clog a sink like the last time I puked in a restaurant.
But like my brother and his friends were like, "You can get him if you want." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, fuck it." Like I just felt like shit, and I just like, oh, "Sure, we'll do it." Like, and then the manager comes up and she's like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Look, I ate the shittiest tacos ever, and I say this because and they caused me a puke in the bathroom. I am telling you that it just happened." Like, and she goes and checks. Apparently that they automate the cooking, as far as I'm aware, and. Apparently
how they would describe like Little Caesar's pizza.
Apparently, like I don't know, however they cook with, they said it was automated. Like so, apparently it was to temperature or something, and it's like, oh, it was cooked, and we haven't gotten any complaints from anybody else. And I was like, oh, fuck it, I don't care. Like,
but where was the beef sitting, and was it refrigerated?
I have zero idea, and I didn't question it long enough. So I did not feel good enough to question all this. I was just like I didn't blame the bartender.
It doesn't matter where it started. It matters where it ended, which is all around the toilet seat of their bathroom.
Yeah, and the floor.
Just everywhere.
It really was everywhere. I felt terrible about it.
That scene from Daddy Daycare where Eddie Murphy walks in and you don't see the room, but you just see his face.
Yeah. and then we get back to the lake house, and I still feel like shit because I just puked. But then I go to my room and I sit down in the bed, and then like I just puke again, and it's at this point just water because there's nothing else left. Thankfully,
puked on your bed?
No, on the floor. The bed was fine, and it was a wood floor, so it was easy cleanup. But like, yeah. That was a fun first day.
Okay, so long story short, Derek prefers beef tongue to bar tacos.
Fuck bar tacos. Only get tacos at Mexican restaurants. Mexican restaurants know what they're doing.
Not some hole in the wall in rural Lake Anne, Virginia.
North Carolina, but yeah.
North Carolina.
That's even worse.
Like population 106, and like, just that random bar that serves bar tacos.
Lake Norman's a pretty popular place, apparently. But I don't know.
The bar tacos.
Anyway, let's talk about Vegas.
Yeah. So we call Argyle, and he picks us back up. And at this point, we're driving through the Vegas Strip. Sean, you and I are the only ones that had been to Vegas prior, but each time you get to drive in, I bet this was probably the first time you rode with a private driver in a black Escalade. What were your thoughts as we were actually like in the Strip and it was finally real and we could see Trump Tower?
Oh, I was holding myself back from rolling down that window and just yelling belligerent things, just like, "Oh, motherfucker, you don't know who I'm from. You don't know what I had. You know what? I got a shitload of money in this car. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." But I'm like,
if there was any place for you to go wild, Sean, it's Vegas.
He was so quiet that entire weekend.
I was trying to keep it in.
Well, except certain parts, but
yeah, if there's any place that you could go wild, it was Vegas, and you decided not to.
Well, you remember RJ when Argyle asked you where you were staying, and you told him his reaction?
Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm gonna preface with the entire time this guy called me sir. No one ever calls me sir, but he called me sir. So as we're riding there, we finally get to the Strip. He's like, "Hey, where you guys where you guys staying again?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're staying at the Trump International." And then he just kind of looks at me like, who am I driving? He looks at me. Then he looks back at them. He sees white Sean, Derek, need I say more, and Zed. And then he looks at me, and then he does the double take again. And he's like, all right. So at that point, I'm like, oh, either this guy is going to call a hit on us or he thinks we're cool. So here's how I sweetened it, because the entire weekend I was thinking, I need allies in this town. When I go somewhere, I want to take it over. So I want allies in this town. So we I'm not gonna skip this part. Okay, remember this part. So we get to the Trump International, and he gets out and he opens the door for us, and he gets our bags out of the Escalade. And he's like, by the way, guys, you want to know how I get into the clubs tonight? Strip clubs, massage parlors, and he does like a little hand motion. And I look at him. He's like, I got you hooked up, okay? Now, at that point, I'm just like, okay, that's really awesome, man. I gave him a 50% tip, and it was just like a wad of cash. I'm like, this guy's gonna be my emergency contact this weekend. So I give him that tip. I'm like, here, I appreciate the hospitality. He's like, thank you, sir. 2 minutes later, after he drives off, I get a text. Remember, he called me sir. Hey, brother. Thank you for the fat tip. And I'm like, it's all good, man. We appreciate the hospitality. And I get a response, I got you. So now, within like 2 hours of being in Vegas, I went from being just a casual sir to brother. So immediately, I'm like, I am in.
You did
I've got the connection. And
Cocaine Dolphin Thunderdome. Here we go.
but at this point, Zed and Sean went to go check in, and I look at Derek, right? I looked at Sean later, and I'm like, Sean, I think that man just offered to take us to like one of those happy ending massage parlors. And I can only imagine what the bellhops were thinking as they saw us arriving at the Trump International, their hotel, us, out of a black Escalade with a tall Latino guy saying, I can get you into the clubs, the strip clubs, the massage parlors, give him the hand, give him like the rubber duck sign, and then I just hand this man like a wad of cash, and I've got my bag in one hand and a brown bag of whiskey in the other, and we're just walking in.
Look, I'm gonna say it. That can't be the weirdest thing they've ever seen.
No, Rudy Giuliani has totally took hookers there.
100%.
100%. That's not the weirdest thing they've saw. It was just an average Friday.
They're just like, oh yeah, that's normal.
Now here's the part where I taught Sean how to bribe someone. So within 2 hours of being in Vegas, Derek is eating beef tongue. Zed almost bled out to death at a restaurant.
I like that.
A personal private driver offered to take me to a hand job massage parlor. And now, Sean, I needed a late checkout because the guys were gonna leave in the morning. And I was leaving later in the afternoon, and I didn't just want to hang out in the hotel room, and I didn't want to take my bag with me everywhere. So I went to my big source of knowledge for all things in life prior to the trip. I went to YouTube, and I tried to figure out how to get a late checkout. Because if you've never been to Vegas, Vegas has a sort of hotel fees and resort fees and local taxes and all these other things, and they charge you out the ass for everything. So I learned something called the $20 trick. It's basically where when you check in, you stick a $20 bill between your license and your credit card, and you slide it to them and make your demand. And you can't show the cash because everyone at check-in is on camera, so you can't just do that. So I'm like, Sean, I'm giving you a $20 bill. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to give this to the gentleman at the front desk and tell him we need a late checkout. Sean, take the rest from here.
So when he says that, I'm like, you know what? It's Vegas. Screw it. Let's go up there. So I'm trying to make sure. I'm like, oh, does it matter? You know what? Fuck it. It doesn't matter what order. So he's like, oh, how may I help you? I need to check you in, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. I need a late checkout. and I say it with the straightest face, loud voice, and Zed's right next to me. And he's just like,
is this
wow,
happening?
He was pretty loud on that.
I need a late checkout.
It's like, let's bring no attention to what's about to happen.
It's like an alien who's trying to like disguise himself among the humans. It's like, how does a human act? I need a late checkout.
Pretty much. And then the guy like takes my stuff, and then he realizes later, oh, thank you, sir.
Now Sean is a sir.
Yeah,
We've got a
Sean's
brother
sir
and
now.
a sir. We are all upgrading.
All upgrading.
Sadly, when I asked about upgrades, they were like, "Sorry, sir, we have no upgrades available."
But we got the late checkout.
We did get checkout. That's what mattered.
Yes.
So we get our stuff. Sean has successfully bribed a man. I'm still getting over the fact that a grown man offered to take me to a Thai massage parlor or something like that. So we're on like the 63rd floor of this building. It is the tallest hotel I think in Vegas, and it's absolutely the tallest hotel I've ever stayed in. Now, most of the time, you go one elevator in your life, you've been to all of them. The Trump elevator is like a fucking bullet train.
It just goes up. Like, you're just there. Like
it's something out of a cartoon. I felt like G-forces were going to pull me down.
my ears popped.
We tried jumping right as it stopped to see if we could like slam into the ceiling. Remember that?
Oh, that's the thing. Like, here's the crazy part. Not only is this thing fast as hell, but at one point we were like, you know what we're going to do? Once we get to our floor, we're all just going to jump and see what happens. Zed, what happened when we jumped?
We went up a good 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we landed, usually you feel the whole thing shake. That thing didn't move.
No, it was solid.
It's a professional elevator.
It's like what's the second law of motion? Two unstoppable objects cannot force each other in another direction. It's like as soon as we jumped, it's like that R. Kelly song. I believe I can fly. As soon as we landed, and we're thinking the whole thing's gonna shake. It's like we all just kind of stumbled for a second because it's like this motherfucker didn't move.
Yeah. Like the elevator was like, surprise, motherfucker.
Surprise! Here's your floor, dog.
I'm pretty sure the security in the elevator, like the security cameras, the guy watches security cameras in the elevator, is like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
The guy watching the security cameras like, I've seen weirder shit. This is Friday. Who cares?
Got Scott Baio bringing in bags of cocaine in that elevator. We get to our hotel rooms, and I mean, it is the nicest hotel in Vegas I've ever stayed at.
It's really nice. I love the room. It was really good.
I mean, Trump water bottles, Trump everything. It came with a freaking jacuzzi tub.
And of all the things they like charge for it, the water bottles I think were just complimentary. You can just keep asking for them.
Sean would call down like each time we went back to the room for bottles of water, and we would always get like bags of water.
Yeah, it's useful. I really liked it. I was like, sweet, especially in Vegas, water's a commodity. So
and they knew who was calling down there too. So it was like I picked up the phone, I called that front desk. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Doyle, how you doing?" It's like, yeah, you know who it is. Give me that water,
Because so Mr. Doyle
like,
now.
Mr.
It went from Sir to Mr.
It
Doyle.
went from
He's
Sir
upgraded
to
twice
Mr.
now.
Doyle.
Mr.
How many
Doyle.
waters would you like, Mr. Doyle?
But
I want
RJ is
8.
still the brother.
Yeah.
Well, hotels in Vegas, I hear, even like resorts like Caesar's Palace, they actually put weights in the refrigerator so you can't move anything, or else they charge you. The water, they charge you for the water. There's no complimentary coffee. The Trump Hotel, all of that was complimentary.
It was very nice.
Especially for what we were paying, it should have been complimentary.
Yeah.
But
I'm very happy about that.
But yeah, they probably saw that Sean was calling. It's like, Mr. Doyle, he'll give us all 20s in our tips. It's like
He'll give more money.
I need that money.
I need that money.
I mean,
no, you move. Mr. Doyle is my responsibility.
I'm not saying every time a water guy came up and I handed him a $10 bill, but I'm like, thanks for the good job. Give me the water.
So you just paid for water.
Hey,
No. He paid for
He made
influence.
a donation. He made a donation.
A donation.
We're going to talk about that later.
Okay, so that brings us to now. Day one is officially on the. It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
We arrive in a black Escalade with Argyle, offering to take us to happy ending massage parlors, and now I'm a brother, and Sean is now Mr. Doyle. So now we go to the first big thing on the list. We get picked up. Actually, Sean, I'm gonna let you describe this part. What happens?
So,
ready to walk out.
yeah. So basically, what are some big ballsy adult things you can do in Vegas?
Everything.
Gamble. That sounds a little like everyone else does that. Oh, you walk around the strip, fine. Everyone else does that. Go shoot guns that you probably will never get to own because either the ammo is expensive or one, it's going to take a shitload of time to get the tax stamp. You know what? We're going to Battlefield Vegas, bitch.
Bam!
Bam.
And what does Battlefield Vegas offer?
Humvee
pickups.
So we get dropped off in a black Escalade, and the first thing we walk out to is a freaking Humvee.
It was so awesome. We get to
this dude wearing a bunch of combat fatigues, and like he's our driver. We were like, you know what, this is freaking awesome.
And then we just hop in the back. He gives the option. You can ride inside or you can ride in the back. We're like, we're riding in the back.
Right in the back. Well, what was funny was somebody else came over to him and they thought he was an Uber driver. So while the Battlefield Vegas driver was talking to this guy, like, no, this is complimentary service, blah, 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 because we had booked so much shit to shoot.
We did.
So much. That's the perks of being high rollers. While this guy's talking, we could have just been like dudes off the street, but we just jump into the back of the Humvee and he just looks at us. He's like, "Oh, you guys, you're my pickup," and we're like, "We're your pickup." So immediately he drives us out, and it's been many years since I've ridden in a Humvee. But getting a ride a Humvee in Vegas was freaking phenomenal. At this point, what we had planned was each of us got to select a certain number of guns to shoot, and we shot everything from freaking sniper rifles, semi-automatics, handguns. I shot a freaking German Luger, Gatling guns. Derek and I will explain that later. Zed, just talk from the offset. We're finally there. A lot of these guns are guns, as Sean mentioned. You don't get to shoot them just about anywhere.
Yeah, these are all full auto weapons. So select fire, so 3-round burst, full auto, pull the trigger and it'll just keep firing until you let go of the trigger. Like a machine gun. So I don't know. We all came up with we all had our own lists of guns we always wanted to shoot. So I think I actually had the most amount of guns selected that I got my own personal range guide.
Give us a run through.
Yeah, so I basically selected a list of firearms which were the most commonly used in the world and the most well recognized. So basically, if someone asked me, "Oh, have you ever shot this gun?" Odds are I have, and I've shot it in full auto. So I had like a list of like 7 guns. I shot an AK 47 full auto. I shot an M4 full auto. I shot an MP5 full auto, a Styrog full auto, an HKG3 full auto, an FNFAL full auto, and to finish it off, I shot an MG42 full auto. So basically, I booked so much shit that the range officer's like, "All right, who has this big list of guns?" I'm like, "That's me." It's like, "You're with me. You're going to be interesting."
Zed had like a cart full of weapons. Like they just bring out this cart, and the top and the bottom is just like belt mags and everything.
Yeah, it's so
like
many
his
guns.
receipt was as long as to his nose to his knees. That's how long his list was with like ammo too. And I'm like,
it was a lot.
It's a kid on their first Christmas.
It was awesome.
What was your favorite of the ones you got to shoot?
Definitely the MP5. It's definitely not overrated. I can see why so many people who use that firearm, in their professions or on duty love it so much. It's such a smooth shooting gun and such low recoil. You can just keep on target shooting full auto and you'll hit your target. And then definitely one of my favorite full auto guns was the FNFAL, right arm of the free world, as it's known as. So it's a 308 battle rifle. Those generally are known to kick a lot. But the gun just shot so smoothly. I really enjoyed it. And I was very surprised of, if you really get on it, how controllable it can be, if you know what you're doing.
We usually make fun of Doyle for being the one to always talk about his FUD gun, but I must not have paid much attention to that site because as Sean is shooting, I see them actually pull out a freaking P90. I've never seen a real P90 in my life. Sean, what was that freaking like? Because only like the freaking Secret Service get to shoot that shit. And when they do, unlike some other foreign governments that have a P90, only they get to shoot a P90 that's fully automatic. So you're one of the few people on Earth who have been able to shoot that gun full auto when you think about it.
I shot it too. It was really good.
Oh, you shot it too?
I did.
Yeah.
I was too busy being surprised that Doyle was the one who wanted that one.
It's a good gun. I like it.
Honestly, I thought it would have been a little bit heavier, but honestly, it was the lightest thing. And when that thing went full auto, like I can understand, okay, if I'm in my house and grandma across the street and I actually fire this thing, she's shredded. So you know what? I understand now.
Grandma got
Here's
shot
a
by a
grams.
30-02.
Our Christmas album.
Grandma got cut down by a P90 from Sean's house Christmas Eve.
So here is like at this point, like it's all escalating. This is where we get to the creme de la creme, the piece de resistance. Derek and I are just like, you know what? We just want to do like the most ridiculous thing. And I want to mention of all the ridiculous things you could pay at Battlefield Vegas, and they're not sponsoring this, but they should.
They should.
You can drive over a car in a M1 Abrams tank. You can pay to go up in a freaking Huey helicopter. I think it was a Huey, and you get to shoot from a freaking saw machine gun. Like you could do some pretty crazy things.
You
But
can
Derek
also
and I-
shoot a tank too.
Oh, you could shoot the tank too. That's like $5,000.
Yeah,
But-
they take you out to the desert and you just shoot one solid load for 5,800.
That's what she said.
Oh.
Derek and I were like, we have to do something on the ridiculous scale. One of the things they have there is they have a freaking minigun.
Yes.
That's right, COD fans. We got to live your dream, and it was the most expensive 15 seconds of our lives.
It was, but it was so great. It's worth it. 100%.
Like, you know, I told my father before we went that I was going to shoot that. He's like, really? It's going to be so fast, and all you do is just press down the buttons. And I'm like, I know, but I want to tell people I did it.
The slow-mo video is what's worth it.
You can go ahead, check out my Instagram. I have a new Instagram, OTR_Remso, where you can go check out my regular one at Hey Remso. You can go ahead and check the reels there. I did one of all the guns I shot as well as the minigun because the minigun deserved its own. But like not many people actually go for the minigun because the minigun's the most expensive. And I was looking at Sean of my doe eyes, and I was like, Sean, best man. I want to shoot a minigun.
I think I'll always remember when the guy literally told everyone in the room, all right, minigun's about to be shot. Everyone just got
like a little extra pep in their step, and they're like
everyone that was there in the room was like, "Oh, we're gonna watch this."
Yeah, the whole room
got
was like
instant erection. All the
everybody
cell
was
phones
getting
came
the
out.
cameras out.
Everyone's watching because it's an event.
But yeah, as soon as they were like, "Okay, minigun hot," as soon as I pressed down on both the buttons, like it was like.
It's so good.
It was like shooting the largest load of your life. It was just like, everything is in slow motion. As soon as I get to the end, I'm like, someone get me a cigarette.
I'm telling you, man. Like when I went on that minigun, I honestly my body was like vibrating like for a bit after the fact, just because it's so
turned
powerful.
Derek into a vibrator.
Yeah,
You become a man firing that shit.
He walked in as a boy. Now he is a man. Any other thoughts on Battlefield Vegas? I thought that was like the best way to start the trip.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Staff was really nice. The people
staff
who
was
worked
super
there,
cool.
If you have more fuck you money, do the tank, because honestly, it'll make the minigun experience.
I would say the helicopter over the tank, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Well, we got complimentary ride back too. To anywhere we
because
wanted to go.
they took us to Caesar's Palace, which was really sick.
Yeah. So the plan was we were gonna go to Caesar Palace, see more of the Strip, and go to the Monte Cristo Cigar Club. Riding. I think Zed, you were the one who was like, as we were walking up to the Humvee, getting ready to go through the strip, you're like, I feel like we're in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, like GTA Online.
Yeah, we're living a GTA with no consequences. I love it.
Yeah, it was just. I'm wearing like I wanted to feel like a mafia don or something. So I'm wearing like a long sleeve black button shirt and a freaking travel blazer, and I'm just like, you know what?
We called him Pablo.
I was Pablo. I was Big Pablo that night. But I'm like riding through Vegas on a on a fucking Humvee through the strip at night. As soon as we were leaving, it was getting dark. Zed, what was it like? It's like you could tell people, yeah. Like, one of the things I did the first time I went to Vegas was ride through the strip in a freaking Humvee.
Yeah, it was very interesting because, you could see, the whole strip, nice 360-degree view, and you're like strapped in with these seatbelts that don't even work. Like, God forbid, if something wrong were to happen, like, we'd be dead.
Let's be honest, it's one pothole and we're fucked.
Yeah, because it's like there's no, like, the seatbelts are there, but it's like they're not, like, adjusted to our body size, so they're just hanging onto our shoulders.
I didn't even buckle in.
I just held on to it, and I was like, I'm just going to hold on to it.
I was strapped to the hip, so you know what? I would have been launched like a rag doll, and I would have hit whatever building was in front of us.
The rag doll.
Somebody hits the back of the Humvee, Sean flies off, and they're like, oh my gosh, that child.
It's like GTA ragdoll.
Yeah. And plus, everyone was like looking at us and taking pictures, like, oh, look at that.
Look at those cool guys.
Those guys are they some type of like Saudi oil sheiks or something? What was funny was I was joking as we were riding to Battlefield Vegas with our first driver. I was like, yeah, we're like Bitcoin billionaires or like, Middle Eastern oil barons. And he told us this story about these guys from like, I don't know if they were from the UAE or Qatar. They came in like freaking, ballers, and they were shooting everything, and they were just dropping loads of cash. And he was like, yeah, I was expecting a giant tip since I had to drive all the way to the end of town to go pick him up. And all they gave me was a 20. So with this guy, and at this point, like my tipping is exceeding my spending. I tipped the driver who took us to Caesars. I gave him like $40 or something. I'm like, here, man, I appreciate you. I'm just saying that to everybody. I'm like, I appreciate you because I'm trying to build influence. I'm trying to make allies and connection.
Yeah, Battlefield Vegas is an ally.
Hey, that's the most important ally, right? They got all the guns. If anything goes south, Battlefield Vegas, you got me right.
You want to? I'm allies now with the drivers and the people with the guns. I got to make it work. So we get to Caesars, and Caesars is phenomenal. Whose idea was the Monte Cristo Cigar Club?
Zed's.
Zed, give us a breakdown.
So Monte Cristo Cigar Lounge is located in Caesar's Palace, right off the casino floor. And it's very upscale. Cigars will generally start around $20 a stick. There was a big markup on cigars. I'm guessing just because of location. And
there was a markup on everything.
Yeah, the venue, like an $8 cigar that you'd get in Virginia. It was like a $20 cigar there. But, what it allowed you to do was, pick out a cigar and then go into the lounge, order food or drinks and just hang out and just smoke. And I was actually surprised. They actually left the doors of the cigar lounge open to the casino. So they weren't worried about the smell of smoke or anything.
Which was wild. What was even more wild, and I mean, this is one of the things you can only get in Vegas. Have you guys ever been to like a restaurant that was so fancy the waiter like cuts your food for you?
Once.
Not even Gordon Ramsay did that.
I've seen that. I've seen that like some steak places where somebody, mainly for like women, they will cut some of the meat for them. At this place, they did something that I didn't expect. The guys at where you can actually buy your cigar, they will cut your cigar for you and light it for you. I've never had another man cut and light my cigar. It felt like a little intimate. But I was
they asked you what cut too you wanted.
Yes.
Well, I asked the guy because this was actually Derek's first time smoking a cigar, so I wanted to get 1-to-1 with him. So Like, I'm like, do you have a lighter and a cutter we can use indoors inside the lounge? We're like, no, we don't do that anymore because people kept stealing our lighters and cutters. So that's why they do it. It's because they don't want people stealing their shit.
Yeah. And like I like my first time, I was just like, Zed, tell me what to.
Finally happened.
I was like, Zed, tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
Like a virgin on his very first time.
I broke my minigun virginity and my cigar virginity.
Derek, you've gone to the frickin' cigar. You've gone to the cigar shop with Zed and us so many times. You probably have already a regular degree of secondhand smoke. What made you actually want to take part for the first time with us?
It was Vegas. That's really it. I was just like, we're here. There's not really another explanation. I was just like, if there's any place I was going to smoke a cigar for the first time, it's going to be Vegas.
The hot cocktail waitress took pity on you.
She was hot, yes.
She's like, let me take care of you, darling. I'll get you some ginger ale.
She got me some she got me some ginger ale. She was very nice about it.
Yeah, so she was like, oh, he's struggling to breathe that thing.
And I was teaching Derek, like, all right, Derek, this is how you do it.
Hey, I was getting it down.
No, he got it down. Once he got down the technique, I was like, just imagine taking a liquid through a straw, but you're keeping it in your mouth. And he figured it out. He nailed it in like 5 minutes. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Hot waitress was so proud of you.
She was so proud.
And the rest of the night is kind of a blur for me. Zed didn't drink. Derek drank as much as us. Sean and I were probably drinking the most. But how did we get back?
When we came back.
Well, that was the same night you went to Fremont.
Oh yeah, that okay.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was. It was all day one.
Okay, so we're at the. It's about probably.
Oh boy, fucking Fremont.
Yeah, we were at the Monte Cristo Lounge for probably like 3 hours. So around 10 o'clock or so, I'm like, let's go to Fremont. Now, some of you might know it as like Old Vegas. I remember as where they filmed Diamonds Are Forever in the James Bond car chase scene. So if you've seen Diamonds Are Forever, you've seen that, or any old Vegas movie of like the Rat Pack or anything. That's where they did it. It's where they've got street performers, all the real classic hotels. I was like, guys, we got to go walk it. So we get in a cab to go to Fremont Street. Sean, give us your impressions of when we got there.
Honestly, it turned in like just where they dropped us off. I mean, it was a little calm, and then you go into explosion freak show people. There's a concert going on the left, decently good music, and then you see the people that are trying to own their property circles walking around through. You got the dominatrix, the strippers, the guy trying to sell off the regular rock as a crack rock and his own pee. By the way,
so these circles, Vegas has had a problem with panhandlers and homeless and street performers for years. So when you go to Fremont Street, on the ground on the street, you'll see like these little circles, and basically, if you're gonna ask people for money and do something, you have to stay in your circle. And the crack rock guy, like, I didn't even notice that. It was just a giant rock that he was like, this is the world's largest crack rock. And then, like, an empty bottle of, like, Jiffy peanut butter where it was, like, my urine.
Oh, my God.
What
a dude.
It was, like, it was, like, and, I mean, it
was Moss Isley.
And then there was like the giant zip line that was above us.
You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. That's where all the degenerates hang out.
It was like freaking everywhere. And
yeah, Fremont was like, it's cool to look at, but that's about it. Because like,
just look up, don't look down.
Like literally look up, because all the cool side of Fremont Street is basically like has these giant like screens and everything that like encompass the ceiling. That's just like doing all these light effects and everything. It's actually really cool. At least I thought so. And people are like ziplining above you.
We went to we went to the Golden Nugget Hotel and Casino, and we like got lost in there because inside what they have the world's largest golden nugget. You'd think that they would stick it somewhere like prominent, like they'd be proud of it. It's in like the back corner of the
Near the bathrooms.
Yeah, near the bathrooms of the farthest fucking end of the hotel. So we get there, and I've been like really hyping this thing up. I'm like, you guys go see the Golden Nugget. Then we get there, and I'm just like, this is kind of lackluster.
Yeah, it wasn't a very. I mean, I imagine it's very big for Golden Nuggets, but it wasn't like I was expecting bigger.
Like not next to the bathrooms, at least.
Yeah, I was expecting it'd be a centerpice or some
So
crap.
exactly what would interest you? Some of the size of a jumbo jet?
Yes.
If you don't get that reference, you need to go back and listen to every episode of the show. We leave the Golden Nugget just kind of like, underwhelmed. We're back on Fremont Street. We see homeless people in diapers. We see a man getting spanked by two obese women wearing leather and cop hats. And I saw Street Jesus, which was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But, it was just wild.
Yeah. And RJ, do you mind if I tell the next part of the story?
This is the most important part.
So we're like just walking along Fremont Street. I think we walked all the way down, and then we're out of the nice part and we're in like the more sketchy part. So we're like walking back toward the nicer part of it. And as we're getting back in the nice part, I look at RJ and I'm like, look, we're walking around Fremont Street.
We're like the only sober people there.
Yeah, I was like, do you want a beer, RJ? I will buy you a beer because it's his party. So I'm like, so we walk over to the nearest bar. There's like a shit ton, like on the left and right. Doesn't matter where you go.
Like outdoor, like on the side of buildings, you can just go up and buy alcohol.
Yeah, and we both buy a beer. Now these beers are pretty large, and like this was the smaller of the two options, but they were like $13 beers. They were expensive. But they were still pretty big, and we were like, fuck it, we're in Vegas, let's just get a drink. And we got our drinks, and I got a Michelob Ultra, and RJ, you got Coors Light, right?
Yeah, I just got Coors Light. We start walking around with this, so I'm thinking like this is where the party starts. Like we're gonna start drinking, we're gonna start like heckling people and stuff. We walk to the other end of Fremont. We're between like an EDM DJ, and everyone there is like trying to like dubstep and shit next to the oldies band. And then at the freaking bar behind us, they have these two go-go dancers jump on stage, and like people are all around us, and we're standing across from a woman who's like whipping people for singles. So at this point I'm drinking, and Sean's like, dry humping like, the air and shit like that.
Yeah, RJ and I are drinking.
And Zed is like, I'm just gonna not be overwhelmed by everything. So as I'm drinking this, I feel like everything's spinning, and I'm just hearing like dun, 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 and I'm just looking around. I'm like, something's off. And I take a few more sips. And I'm like, something's off with this beer. I look at Derek, and Derek looks at me, and I'm like, is he communicating with me? And his cheeks just blow up, and I'm like, he's gonna puke. And then as soon as I think that, I'm like, I'm gonna puke. Without saying anything, Derek and I split directions, throw out the beers, and I puke on the side of a beer. I puke on the side of the trash can, but nobody's noticing, thank God, because it's not the weirdest thing they're gonna see.
Yeah, it's Vegas. We both felt nauseous at the exact same time. Like in terms of my beer, like it got harder to drink, and I've never had a beer be like that. Like. And keep in mind, we're not like 5 beers deep or anything. We had
been drinking casually throughout the day.
Yeah,
this was not
this is
like us. We were not sloshed or anything.
Yeah, we weren't sloshed at all. Like we're drinking this beer. I think it's like our third of the whole day that we've had, maybe. And
that's for me.
Okay, we've had a bit more. But the point is, like, we're not at the point where we should feel drunk yet, and I don't feel drunk. I feel bad. Like this beer just did not sit right with me. Something in my stomach was like, no, stop, do not pass go, throw this shit away. and like RJ and I did at the exact same point in our beers. Like we were halfway through it, and we were just both pitched at the same time. That told us enough that we drank some shitty beer. Or Nicky Michelob Ultra tried to poison us.
We'll get to him later. But so this is like at the end of the night, but we actually skipped a scene. Zed brought this up earlier. We wanted to get dinner between smoking cigars and going to Fremont, so we walked over to the Casino Royale, which, if you don't know what it is, you think it's something cool. Instead, it's a Best Western with a casino and a White Castle.
And I've never been to a White Castle, so everyone was like, "We're going to a White Castle."
Going to White Castle. Zed, do you want to explain your donations now?
Oh yeah, okay. So right next to the White Castle was a casino, just like run of the mill casino. So I think you went ahead after eating White Castle, like I'm gonna gamble something, right? So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll follow along with you, RJ.
Gamble.
I'll see what this slot machines are all about. So I sit there and I watch you, do your thing. I think you put $5 in, and you just lost
20. I burned $20.
Oh yeah, you put $20 in, and you burned. You just burnt it all in like a minute. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm feeling lucky. So I made a $1 donation to the
donation.
This $1 donation to Casino Royale, and it was gone in a second. I'm like, this is stupid, and I do not know why people do it. And yeah, that's it. I'm like, fuck this. This is why do people do this? I could have bought something.
It was like when you see people like sitting at those slots. I'll bring this up. Like on our third night when we went back to the Monte Cristo Lounge at the Caesars. Like I remember walking to the other end of the resort so that way we can get a cab back to the Trump International. And I just remember seeing this older guy like in his 60s, slumped over. His suit was all messed up. He looked like he had been at that single slot machine the entire time, because I remember noticing him as we walked to the club. Like an hour and a half later, no, like 2.5 hours later, he's still there. It's like people, once they start doing that, they just don't stop.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, RJ, that's like kind of a thing in Vegas. Like for people who are serious about slot machines, like they pick one and they stay there because at some point in their minds they're like, this has to pay out at some point. If I stay on this specific machine, it'll pay out. Like it has to. Like there's no way it doesn't. And that's why they stay there, because they're like, in their minds they're like, at some point I gotta win. Like if I played, this slot machine and then like played 5 others, I'm not going to win. But if I play this one 7 times, I might win. And it's just, that's their logic, and they keep going, and that's the hole they fall into.
I like how Zed calls it donations. Remember, kids, Vegas was not built by winners. It was built by you keeping these poor casinos alive.
I mean, it is a donation because like after our little Fremont Street poisoning, like we go back to the hotel and like we were supposed to go somewhere else that night, but we felt like shit. At least RJ and I did. So we're just like, okay, we're just going to go to bed. And like we both go to our respective hotel rooms, or we all do. And I kind of pass out, but RJ and Doyle, they had other plans.
Long story short, I lost a lot of money that night because I was
donated. You donated.
Yeah, I donated.
Moron.
So, you're only in Vegas once, unless
It's
you're there more
true.
than once. Then you're there a lot. Then the whole thing is redundant. Okay, Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning.
We had basically everything planned, and we had a big meal on Sunday night, which we'll get to in a bit. But like everything else, we tried to be a bit cheaper on the meals. Saturday morning, we had no plans for breakfast. Now, we had anticipated on staying at the Trump International and eating breakfast there, but we were like, no, let's go ahead and see if we can find breakfast on the Strip.
A breakfast adventure.
So I honestly should have just thought, I'm like, you know what, Vegas, you should have made a reservation period. But we go to like Hash and Dash on the Strip somewhere, and they were like, yeah, it's a 2.5 hour wait. And we're like, oh, okay, fine. You know what? Secondary place, let's go. Denny's. Denny's has to have openings of all places.
Denny's had the most crackheads walking.
Yeah,
around.
the Denny's, the Strip Denny's, like Like, not a
Yeah.
good place to go.
So Denny's
We should have called
full.
Argyle. Been like, what's for breakfast,
Brother.
But Denny's, the line was already like, you go up the escalator stairs, it was already wrapping around to the side window where you get takeout. So I was like, okay, no. And we all look at each other. You know what? What is a safe bet? What is always a safe bet?
McDonald's. I gotta say, now this McDonald's was just as packed, except it had more people coming in and out, so you knew you could get a table. Trying to coordinate what everybody wanted through the machines and trying to secure a table and then get the food and everything, like that was like freaking Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's why I was like, let's just all order together, and then I'll get a table, and you guys just order everything for the whole party on one machine.
Looks like the way
and I'll Venmo you.
Yeah, like the way everyone was like inside that McDonald's, you could tell like us, those people had probably been walking around for 3 hours that morning, like us trying to find a place. It looks like a Hurricane Katrina like refugee camp.
Yeah, the McDonald's. I mean, at least we were able to sit down and actually eat there in a reasonable amount of time,
and not get hepatitis from the booths.
Yeah, it's just so funny to think about. It's like, oh, we're in Vegas. Where'd you go for breakfast? McDonald's. That makes sense.
Luckily, because honestly, if we had walked back to the Trump, like we would have had the shortest amount of time to eat before we did our next event.
RJ, I think you and I needed McDonald's after Fremont Street, to be honest.
I was so pale from puking. Okay, so Saturday was going to be lit. Let's give a rundown of Saturday before we break it down. We were going to go freaking race freaking supercars.
Yes.
At Exotic Racing Las Vegas, Speed Las Vegas. And then we were going to go back to the Trump Hotel for the freaking best massages of our lives. Like actual legit massages, not like, Argyle's Rub and Tug massage parlor. And then we were going to go ahead and catch a show, Tournament of Kings at Excalibur, and then we're gonna wrap up the night with Player One video game arcade bar. So automatically, like we were just thinking, like, how can we make, as Sean was saying, how can we make this like the most Chad level trip ever? The freaking supercars, like driving those was I knew it was gonna be fun. As I think more about it, like I would say driving a McLaren and a Ferrari back to back on a freaking racetrack was almost cooler than shooting a minigun.
Honestly, the cars were fucking awesome. Like I love those cars.
Zed, I mean, you actually so all of us picked cars. We picked multiple cars. I think Zed drove the most. But you're a big car guy. Like you go to car shows. You've owned a Mustang in the past like that. Like I mean, we all were like really really excited. But you like walked around with a chub in your pants as you were getting ready to jump in those.
Oh yeah. So I drove the Shelby GT500 and the Ferrari 488 GTB. So it was a good mix, I guess you could say, of cars, like two very different cars, two very different experiences. The GT500 was I sad to say it, I think it's probably going to be one of the last muscle cars of our generation. I think because everything's going electric. So I wanted to drive a V8, a real deal V8, and drive it hard before I die. That was a bucket list because, seeing how everything's going electric, I'm like, holy shit, I might not get a chance to experience what a Shelby with the actual V8 feels like. So I wanted to drive that. And then I always wanted to drive a Ferrari too, because Ferraris were cool.
They are cool.
So I think when we all arrived at the Exotic Racings, they had actual like a terrace level where we could actually like observe the racetrack and watch everyone like go around the track. While we were waiting for our turn.
Oh, that stuff alone was just so much fun because like this place, so it's about 20 miles outside of Vegas. So you're away from the strip and everything, and you're just in the middle of the desert. Like it felt like something out of freaking Top Gear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
So basically, we get called into this, I guess you say, conference room, And I think we were the only 4 people there, so we guys really shooting the shit. And I get up on the podium and I act like I'm a police captain, and you're my subordinates. And I'm like, all right, listen up, people. Sean Doyle, you're tasked with precinct number 9. You're going to be taking a ride along. Derek Gordon, he's from the local college here. Detective Martinez, we got a murder on 123 Main Street. It's not pretty, and they need you there as soon as possible. All right, gentlemen, just like doing like a police spiel, just being rowdy. But yeah, that whole conference room, everyone gathered, who was going to do the experience. And basically they taught us the basics of driving around a track and the track layout, all that. And
Sean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Jed.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What were you saying, Sean?
Yeah, Sean, you've actually gotten to drive some pretty fast cars in the past. I mean, you've actually just been able to drive them around. What was it like to actually jump in these cars and go like a freaking 180 miles per hour on a track?
I mean, honestly,
did it feel real?
It felt real. I'm the fastest out of. They didn't have this car, obviously. They're a Dodge Viper. I've driven that 180, but driving a McLaren that I've never driven before, because that was the only car out of everything they've had I've never driven. 201 miles per hour. Oh my God. I felt like I was just saying, hey, I was telling every girl in the world, you know what? I'm superior. Fuck you.
Oh God.
Because Andrew Tate came out.
The bully McGuire.
Gonna put some dirt in your eye.
You want to go through the Porsche SUV ride along initially?
Oh my gosh. Write that down.
We're just squishing.
So basically, we're in this SUV of a Porsche, and they're just giving you the ride along. Like, okay, obviously RJ, as the guy getting married, he sits up front. Me, Zed, and Derek, we're all in the back, and he's like, "Okay, let's get started." So he literally it's like out of a movie. Let's get started. Gun it. Okay, you're gonna do this, then you're gonna do that. Boom, boom, and we're in the back seat. RJ's like just enjoying. Wee, wee, and we're in the back. I'm at the end, and then Zed's at the end. Like, my little body, and then his big body. He's taking less than
I'm
me.
just in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm getting
sandwiched.
squished.
And the guy's like, the instructor's like, you want to take this turn, then you want to brake like this, then you want to go like this, then
you want to accelerate right here, gun it, like the brake, accelerate, go in and out. Like
it's like some freaking Israeli stuntman. He's like, you need to go fast. You don't stop. You keep going.
And then at the very end, he was like, all right, now you're going to forget everything I just told you and listen to your instructor.
And at the end of the ride, we crush your hopes and dreams.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Like, that felt like a freaking Disney ride or something. But, actually getting to drive them, like, I was nervous the first time in the McLaren because I'm like, man, if I wreck this thing, at least it's on Sean's credit card. But 10 laps in the Ferrari and the McLaren, it was fantastic. We were joking that, if any of us were going to crash, it would be Derek. But Derek, as of right now, you have
fucking speed demon.
Derek has, they actually kept track of everyone's lap times. Derek had the fastest lap time.
Now, hold on.
4 of us.
Doyle, what was your times? Do you know?
I'm not revealing.
He was not faster.
He lost.
That's all we need to know.
You lost.
I'm just gonna say this, Derek. I don't want to ruin your glory, so I'm not.
Okay, well, I'll disclose my score, my time. Okay, so in the GT 500, my fastest time was 1 minute 6 seconds.
Ooh, nice.
I still beat you by 1 second. That was 1:05. And Derek, you did good. What was it like?
It was fucking awesome. I fucking loved every minute. Just like I drove the Lamborghini Huracan and the Ferrari 488 GTB, and both cars, beautiful vehicles. I like the Ferrari more, smoother ride, but the Lambo is super fun too. They're both great. I like the instructor for that I had in the Ferrari. He was much more chill. because the Lambo guy was like, brake, go, accelerate, gas, brake, stop, go, out, in. And also it was like my first time on the track, so it's like a bit more awkward than the second time. So like
Your first is always a little awkward.
Truth, yes.
Well, I agree with Derek on the Ferrari. Driving the Ferrari, it was a very smooth ride, considering how fast you were going, very low to the ground. It felt like a toy. The acceleration, everything was very responsive and very tactile. You could actually tell, like, okay, this was a race car inspired vehicle, right? The GT500, you could tell it was made by like Big Bob in Kentucky. Like, just it's just so weighty. It was like creaky. You could feel like all the rolls and everything like that when you're like turning from side to side, and just that big V8 supercharger motor in the front.
The engines were beautiful.
Yeah,
That was the first time in my life I had ever driven stick.
The paddle shifters.
Yeah, the manual, whatever. That was the first time I'd ever done that.
Yeah, auto manuals.
Yeah. But I mean, just
so
freaking fantastic. And this is how we started the day. Well, the 3-hour walk around the strip trying to find food to get to the refugee McDonald's camp was really our first event. But like that was the first like major thing we did that day. And then we had to rush back to the Trump International because I've wanted to get a massage for a while, and I remember bringing it up to the guys as we were making reservations like a few months ago. It's like,
I saved the day.
We should get some freaking massages. Yeah, Derek saved the day because originally I thought that the spa at the Trump International was closed, so we were going to go to Caesars originally. But he was like, no, let me go look at the website. So he did his shit and found that they had some pretty good packages. And I've gotten some massages in the past, but like this was the swankiest experience ever.
That was so good.
And there are these two very nice women that are checking us in. Then they walk us over, and we get freaking slippers and a locker and a Trump robe, and I'm just feeling like $1 million freaking dollars. It was a very nice, relaxing afternoon. I'm glad we did that after the race cars because my body was still kind of like the adrenaline was going. So the massage helped bring me down. But Sean, you got a story out of that. And no, it was not a happy ending. I'm going to spoil it, and I want you to jump into it. You were touched by the hands that touched Conor McGregor.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So as a little bit of a backstory, basically I chose the athletic package because I play lacrosse. I run a lot. I get banged up. So I was like, you know what? I want an athletic massage, and they actually had that sort of thing. And of course, I get the cutest girl there, and
he gets the redhead, his type.
Redhead, of course. And she's like, "Where does it hurt?" I'm like, "Here. I got surgery here. Blah blah blah." Just, you know what? Just get a drill. Get your whatever part of your body and start drilling me. That's not what she said, but.
Phrasing.
Honestly, phrasing. Honestly, our massages are just so damn relaxing. I just love them.
How did the McGregor part come up?
At the end, she's like asked me, because I asked her at the start. I'm like, I want you to guess what sports I play, and she's like, okay. At the end, and after the end, she's like, your session is over. This is where things are. Go and grab them, and I'll meet you outside. I'm like, okay. So I grab my robe. I get my dog tags back on. She's like, oh, I want to guess football, lacrosse, and possibly soccer. And I'm like, lacrosse. And I'm like, how did you know where to hit these muscles? And she's like, well, I don't like to brag, but I am Conor McGregor's personal masseuse. And I'm like, what?
Notorious.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, I actually, I mean, not the way she said it, but she's like, yeah, I just massaged him the other day.
How does it feel to have the hands that touch Conor McGregor touch you?
I felt like a champion.
Nobody can catch me. You can't fucking catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. You can't fucking catch me. Your wife is in me DMs.
So I tell RJ, and he's like, wait, no fucking shit. So, and if you fast forward to the next day, he's like, oh, when we go back there, because it was the end of the day kind of thing, we didn't get the full experience. They let us come in the next day. I gotta talk to her about this shit.
Yeah, so
I was just so nerding out as we go back the next day and hit the saunas. I immediately asked her, I'm like, I'm sorry to bother you, but what's Conor McGregor like? And she starts laughing. She's like, oh, what you see is what you get with Conor. And I'm like, that's kind of disappointing because the man is a maniac, but that's also awesome to know he's genuine. And she's like, he's just a nice guy. And like, I asked her, like, I wanted to ask her, it's like, can you touch my hands? So his fighting capability can make me suck less at jiu-jitsu, but I didn't want to make it weird. But just talk about like the hands that touched Conor McGregor touched you, like just
it's pretty epic.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Honestly,
epic.
Like the fact that like I honestly expected an athletic massage. They're just gonna hit you with the elbows kind of thing. And she's like, I may be small, but you know what? I'm going to be able to get in there real good. And I'm like,
oh,
this is Vegas. I don't know what to believe. What are you going to do?
Argyle was offering us one thing. What are you going to offer?
Yeah, Argyle was offering us everything.
I do want to bring up one story before we leave the spa. It's been many years since I've gone to go get a massage, and at some places they want you to under your robe not have anything. But there's like this relaxation room, and as I was waiting for my massage, I was just like, you know what? Like I'm gonna just drop trout. I'm just gonna be completely 100% au naturel underneath this. I go and sit down, and like this robe is a little short, so I sit down immediately. I'm like, if someone walks in, they're getting the full package. So I rush back to the locker room. And I'm like, guys, I don't think we're meant to be naked under these robes. They hadn't done what I did. So they're like, well, yeah, I mean, look. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it back on. So eventually I get like this nice little Asian lady. And as she's walking me through what we're going to do for the massage, she's like, okay, are you wearing any boxer briefs? And I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing briefs. She's like, oh, like she's disappointed. She's like, you should go ahead and take it off for a little more comfortable. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it for this lady. She walks out, I take it off, I go back in. So I'm completely naked under the blanket. And like, this massage, I got like the Nirvana experience massage. So she's basically going everywhere with oils and all this other stuff. So there's certain points where I'm like, she's getting a bit close there. Nothing happened, but like at one point she's getting like really far up, and just because, guys, you know what I'm talking about. Because of the situation, I'm like, shit, do not get an erection. So I'm just thinking she's all like, I'm very comfortable. Like this is happening. Like think of something like you don't want, like she's about to flip me over. So I start thinking of myself, Holocaust, dead puppies.
Oh my God.
Old people. Like I'm thinking of everything. And eventually I'm like, okay, like you're good. And she flips me around. It was a great massage. Got my shoulders where I'm really sore. But at the end of it, like she leaves, I put my robe back on, I put my briefs back on, my boxers, and I go back to the room and all the guys had just wrapped up. So I sit down on the chair and I look at them. I'm like, guys, I guess we didn't need to, wear our boxers underneath our robes. And they all look at me and they're like, what are you talking about? And then this is when I realized we just had two different experiences. I look at them, I'm like, they didn't make you get naked completely? And they all just look at me. And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, that's just me.
Hey, Argyle was trying to hook you up.
Argyle called in advance.
Yeah, Argyle gave her part of your tip.
Look, listen,
he's
you
a
take
brother.
care of my brother.
He's a brother.
My brother. So anyway.
Yeah, my massage was honestly, I just was beyond relaxed. Like I just felt nothing. Like I was just a slug. I just like, it was so good. Like just all the oils and shit that was going on and all the hot towels. Like it was like the perfect heat. It was so, I almost fell asleep, honestly. Like just that I was that relaxed. Like I was just,
Yeah,
God,
you
so
felt like
good.
Jello afterwards. You know,
I
You're just
really
like-
did.
just wobbling in the relaxation. She was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, and the
Dead puppies.
and the receptionist up front basically like they as we were checking out, they were basically telling us that like if you guys plan on drinking further tonight, just like make sure you drink plenty of water too, because like everything we used on you guys like you're gonna have stronger effects from the alcohol.
the CBD oil. I was like, I'm getting high off this shit. Let's go.
It didn't do that to them, but they were just like, I feel the CBD, and I'm just like, you guys are just very relaxed right now.
We were honestly just very relaxed. That's all it was. Like it was awesome. And because we did at the end of the day, they were nice enough to give us complimentary spa passes for the next day. So we would just go back and use their sauna and showers and other stuff. And like the relaxation room, which is really nice. We definitely like RJ Doyle and I took advantage. We just went in there. We lived our Godfather fantasy.
like the freaking steam room there, and this is the next day to finish off the spa sequence. Like it looked like something out of like the Godfather. So like the whole trip, like I'd been like dressing ridiculously. The first night I was the Pablo Escobar persona. Saturday I was wearing a freaking Hawaiian shirt. I ordered a freaking gold chain for this shit. I'm like I'm gonna be a Mafia of Dawn today. So I'm sitting in the steam room and I'm just like da, 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 da. So Derek had bought like a 30-pack of Michelob Ultra. So I'm looking at Sean. I'm like, Nicky Michelob Ultra, I need you to go whack your cousin for me. And it was just like, you could hear people outside walking by at one point, like, who the fuck are these guys?
Nicky Michelob Ultra. He tried to whack us, RJ, at Fremont Street. He tried to whack us.
Send his
Trying
mom
to
a
poison our
steak.
beers. Send his mom a steak. Don't kill him. Don't shoot his face. Leave that for his mother. Send him a
That's his
steak.
mother.
It was just perfect. So the spa at the Trump Hotel, phenomenal, highly recommend it. Great service,
5-star.
great time.
5-star. Great hotel.
I wanna jump to Tournament of Kings, but I gotta say like the Trump Hotel it's got character. Let's put it that way.
I think it's like a sanctuary, honestly, for us, because like just everything else on the strip is like, casino gambling, like just all this stuff.
Crackheads,
Like
children.
and then like Trump Hotel is just like you walk in the lobby, it's just very calm, it's very sophisticated, it's just very nice, and there's no slot machines or anything. It's just very like you walk in and it's like you're home. Like you just relax.
I find it funny you use the word sophisticated because let's talk about the menu. So we ordered some food before we were going to the show at the Excalibur, and you would think like this is like a 5-star restaurant. It is and it's not. Like it's very high quality. It's very nice. But we looked at the menu, and the menu is just a page. And when you look at like the dinner items, the thing they have on top is, well, Sean, I'll let you say what was on top. Oh, and why you decided to get it.
It was literally just called The Burger.
The burger. You gotta say it like Trump.
The burger. The burger.
The burger.
The best burger.
Believe me.
Believe me.
It's the best. You just want the burger.
The burger.
But honestly, we were all looking at the menu, and Zed was already down there, but he was telling me and then this chick of a woman, which she didn't know what she was doing with her money because sugar daddy was taking his pills. She's like, oh my God, you got to get the burger. It's the best thing. I love it. My dog loves it. It's the best thing. And I'm like,
Yeah, she lived in Trump Tower too. She's like, I just moved in here.
Yeah, the Trump Tower apparently has like apartments. That's a fact I did not know until I got there.
And this woman, she looked like she was like in her early 30s, but it turned out she was actually in her 50s, and she had 2 20-year-old children. She was like telling me her entire life story. I'm like, lady, I'm just waiting for my burger, okay? I don't give a fuck what your dog is.
Yeah, but then she comes on to us and she's like, yes, it is the best burger. Oh my God, my dog eats it. And I'm like, you fucking feed your dog this burger? Like,
The best burger.
shit, woman. And finally she leaves. And then I see her sugar daddy and I'm like, yeah, you're taking some boner pills tonight for that, aren't you? And Derek and I are just waiting for our burgers. And I text RJ and I'm like, I know what you want. He's like, just get me whatever you're getting. And I'm like, okay, it's the burger. Well, what is it called? And I'm like, the burger.
I'm like, what? Okay.
And honestly, it was probably, I don't know what they marinated that meat in because it wasn't like an original burger, but this thing was juicy, flavorful.
That was really good. I liked it.
I would compare it to Great American Restaurants food. Like, it reminded me of Sweetwater and, Ozzy's, like that tier. It was actually pretty good.
It was really good. I liked it. And the fries were really good too because they were like these garlic Parmesan fries. Like they were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were
I had their
really good.
salad. I had the mixed green salad, and it tasted just like Great American Restaurants field green salad. It was really good.
It was good. I was happy with the burger. Am I surprised that the Trump Hotel called their burger the burger?
No,
Oh,
I'm not.
Not at all.
I'm not surprised. The burger, the best burger.
But then
The
fast
only
forward
burger.
to tournament
Of kings. Huzzah!
Sean, I'm gonna let you explain it, and then Derek, I want you to jump in for that.
So Tournament of Kings, as I posted in my Snapchat story, oh my God, we're going to see grown men fight with swords. It's basically that. Just grown men fighting with swords. There's a giant wizard that's just like, we're gonna make this big battle of the countries. I won't get into a certain country because I don't want to get into that. Why I was disappointed with the person that was there, but
We were Dragon Country.
Dragon Country. Huzzah!
Yeah, so we're Dragon Country. We're the bad guys. If you've ever been to like a medieval times where it's a dinner and a show and you're all like taking part in it, like you kind of know what Tournament of Kings is. But we were Dragon Country. I didn't realize, one, Dragon Country, that section of the place was going to be kind of empty. But two, I didn't realize we were also the bad guys. I order a freaking frozen margarita. And like the thing is, like, the show is rigged. Like, it's not a real tournament, as
Sadly.
sadly. But
Dragon
like,
Country deserved to win.
but like, here's the thing. Like, apparently, like nobody ever is really excited for their team if they're the bad guy. But we were like, you know what? We're Dragon Country. We need to represent. So when it comes to our point where like our Black Knight comes in, he looks like a freaking Darth Maul type of dude. We're just
like a
standing.
Kiss character.
Yeah, he looks like one of the members from Kiss. All four of us are just like, yeah,
Huzzah!
Yeah!
Huzzah!
Send
like
him in a body bag. Yeah!
cut his head off. Like they were
He's like, oh my God. These guys are into it.
We won. We at the beginning of the show where they're like, which nation has more spirit? We actually won. And apparently, I asked
won the first round.
Yeah, I asked one of the waiters. I was like, "Does Dragon Country usually win?" They're like, "No, you guys are like one of the first ones we've seen win in a while." We're like, "Yeah." So
Hell
when our
yeah.
guy is like, winning his part of the rigged fight, and we're just like, "Yeah, kill the prince!" Like he kind of looks over and says, like, he's like, "Damn!" Like these guys are really. We're the drunk adults at the kids show. Yeah, get him! This is Dragon Country.
No, well, even before the show started, we were just like so hyped, like yelling huzzah and cheering. And then at the
Huzzah!
beginning of the show, they shined the spotlight on us, and they're like, "You four, get up! This is how you're supposed to cheer."
It was because of me. I'm 100% certain of that.
It was just so ridiculous. And like at one point, Sean is like, throwing up like the rock and roll hand. So when the Black Knight comes over to us, he starts doing that. We're like, yeah, motherfucking Dragon Country.
I was tempted to jump over the wall. I was like,
we should have helped him. While our knight was about to get killed, and plot twist he does get killed, we should have gone in and fought the prince, and then been like, yeah, get him. Get our MAGA hats, and a bottle of bleach, and a noose. Be like, this is Dragon Country, motherfucker. Set him in a body bag.
Oh my god.
That scene from Karate Kid though, where he's just like laying there, just injured, just dying, and just that kid in the back is like, "Yeah, set him in a body bag, yeah."
Only we might ruin the Riggs show. But if you have not been to the Tournament of Kings in Vegas, it's probably like it's a show you have to see. It was a lot of fun.
Dragon Country. Be part of Dragon Country.
Too.
What was the food?
It was a Cornish game hen. It was like literally a whole mini rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, it was basically all hand food, because like the purpose was you're in medieval times, you use your hands, no utensils. So like it was corn.
Excuse me and my frozen margarita.
Yeah, well,
that's medieval,
you
right?
You drank that with your hand. Who cares?
There's no ice in the medieval times.
and you eat the chicken, you eat the corn. There's like a bread roll. I think they brought you a I forget what the dessert was. It was like a tart of some kind. I could be wrong on that.
I didn't eat mine. It was like a pie or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I ate some of it. It was good. But yeah, like the meal was good. I liked that a lot. Then they brought like a tankard that was like full of soda or water, depending on what you wanted, and then you could like order, beer and frozen drinks. I got like a pina colada for myself.
So if you ever want to go to Tournament Kings and do it up like the Degenerates, request to sit in Dragon Country.
Dragon Country.
This is Dragon Country.
This is Dragon Country. Huzzah!
After that, there was one place I think we found on Instagram. We found a couple places on Instagram, but after this, we went across to East Las Vegas, and we went to Player One Arcade Bar, and this was awesome. I've never been.
It was
to one
pretty
of these
cool.
Before. Basically, it's a 21 and up bar where inside you have all the arcade games you remember playing at like Pizza Hut and stuff growing up, but they're all free, and there's a full bar there. I don't have much to say other than I got to beat Tron. I remember playing Tron at a Peter Piper Pizza in Sierra Vista, Arizona when I was 7, and I could never beat Tron, but here I am, a 27-year-old man who just raced muscle cars, got a massage, tried to convince an actor to kill another actor, and now I'm playing Tron.
That was a fun night.
It was a fun night. Any remarks or anything about Player One?
I won my first Smash game there.
He did?
I am.
He did? It was a very good time. We had, honestly, that part was really cool.
The bouncer was dressed as Master Chief.
He was Master Chief. That was awesome.
That was cool.
I liked it. A lot of just different video games. I mean, honestly, I didn't play many arcade games as a kid, but there were some that I was like, I wish I hit as a kid, and I was like, pew pew pew.
Yeah, it was cool because it was like since we were out of staters, I think it was like $8 per person.
Yeah. They charge you a different rate based off where you're from.
Yeah, and that was just like the entry fee to go inside. Obviously, like if you wanted drinks and stuff, that was you're paying for that. One thing I was surprised at was that I guess they didn't have a tab system, which I was fully surprised by because it was like pay as you go. I was just would have figured like, oh, if you're here playing video games, like a tab would have just made sense, and then you just close out as you leave. But whatever.
Yeah. After that, I went back to Trump International. Sunday was a bit of a slower day, but we still had fun. Doyle really wanted to go to the Las Vegas sign. Now, I always thought the Las Vegas sign was like off the side of the road and nobody went there. I didn't realize that there's a line to actually go take a photo at the Las Vegas sign.
Like we took a cab to the Las Vegas sign and like they just kind of drop you off on like side of the road where like there it is, and there's people waiting to take a photo with it.
There's like a 12-year-old Mexican kid selling like empanadas. A little table. There's a guy with like a blowhorn offering to. I was supposed to say threatening to take your photo, offering to take your photo.
And to our right, it's like a private airfield.
Oh, that was McCarran Airport.
Yeah, McCarran Airport. I thought it was never mind.
No, that's the actual Las Vegas airport.
Oh, never mind then. I'm stupid. That's fine. I thought you said. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're right next to Signature Flight Services, so yeah, that's like the private terminal part.
That's where everyone from Dubai is driving in from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're coming to our version of Dubai with guns.
Yeah. I realize. Actually, I'll say that for my closing statement. So let's go on.
Zed, tell us the story of Shoku Ramen.
Shako
Ramen.
The best ramen shop in Las Vegas.
Honestly, it was really delicious ramen.
This is why Instagram will always be my favorite app.
Yeah, so Shako Ramen.
You can't say it right now.
Yeah, I can't say it right anymore, but it's called Shaku Ramen, and it's a ramen shop in Las Vegas. And I saw it on TikTok one night, and yeah, that's how like the AI voice reader read the name. It was like Shako Raymond, but it looked really good, so I wanted to try it. So after the Las Vegas sign, we literally had to walk all the way to the Mandalay Bay Hotel just to find a taxi, because for some apparent reason, they don't allow like roadside pickup for taxi cabs. Like you actually have to go to hotel pickups. So we actually met a really cool taxi driver at the Mandalay Bay.
That dude was based.
He was really based. I liked him.
He was so happy to give us a ride.
He was very chill. I like that dude.
Yeah, he was talking about it. He's like, you want us to wear a mask in here? He's like, nah, fuck it. I hate that shit. You don't have to do it. He's like, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. He was like a nice like Sikh guy.
Yeah, he's very chill.
Like if I had a Sikh grandpa, I would want it to be him.
Yeah. So he was just telling us about all the sights and how it is to live in Las Vegas and shit going on there and what's the word around town and stuff like that. And
they're building a moon hotel, so he's like telling us all about this moon hotel. He's like, I'm so excited for the moon hotel.
So we end up going to Shaku Ramen and
Shaku Raymond.
Shaku Raymond. And we end up getting a table right away, so we got really lucky in that regard.
Best ramen I've ever had.
It was so good, dude.
Yeah, nice and spicy, which I liked.
Like I probably would have eaten like all of it if we weren't going to Gordon Ramsay shortly after.
Yeah, but we did try to hit up that horror museum. You want to tell us what happened?
Yeah, so, I mean, Vegas, you got to make reservations for places, but one place where I didn't think you had to make a reservation because I was ignorant, it was Zach Baggins' Haunted Hotel. I tried to go when they opened up in 2017 when I was in Vegas the first time, but it wasn't going to happen. As many of you know, did 3 seasons of the Witching Hour TV series. And, the paranormal, spooky stuff. If you've been listening to the show long enough, I'm into that shit. But Zach Baggins' Haunted Hotel, you had to get reservations for it, and they could have squeezed us in, except it's a 2-hour tour because you've got a lot of stuff to check out with it. We had to go to Gordon Ramsay's within like an hour and a half. So, I just chalked it up to, it gives me something to do next time I'm in Vegas. And I was kind of glad to get out of there because we were in like the skids part of town where I was like, we should probably not just be standing around here. So we go back to the Trump International. We get decked out in, look and fly and everything. Doyle, take us to Gordon's Hell's Kitchen.
Not me,
So,
the Ramsay.
when I knew, I'm like, hey, we're making this trip. Honestly, this was probably the first thing that I booked and got ready for. I'm like, you know what? RJ and everyone needs to have a good meal at this time.
To balance out the White Castle ramen, the burger, and the McDonald's
The burger.
breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah. And this was like literally when we were deciding the trips, like almost 6 months in advance. I'm like, you know what? Gordon Ramsay. Because you had to book this place in advance.
Yes.
And oh my God. The food, the atmosphere coming in, you knew it was like you walk in, you see all the Hell's Kitchen, like they had the show running on televisions. They had the tridents going all around the room, fire going everywhere. You saw when you walked in, you were able to buy a chef's shirt and everything.
Sean kept asking our waitress if we could get Gordon on the phone. He's already down like a glass of wine. So can Gordon like talk to us? Like is here? Like they're trying to keep a secret. Like is Gordon here with us?
Well, I called
in spirit. He's with us.
In advance, like 4 days before, and they're like, "Yeah, he's supposed to be in Vegas, and he might come to Hell's Kitchen." And I'm like, "Oh my God, please! It'll burst these guys into like tears."
Look, you know, we may not have gotten Gordon, but I want to think that we got close to the second best thing possible.
The lamb sauce.
The lamb sauce. No, I'm not talking about that though. I'm talking about who. Well,
okay.
The other thing.
We as we were getting the bill, we asked the waitress, "Who's the coolest celebrity you've seen here?" And if you know anything about the Degenerate Panel, you know our favorite actor of all time. So she's like, you know, this guy, he's been in a lot of movies. And we're like, oh, yeah, a guy who's been in a lot of movies. Who is it? So she goes over. She's like, you know, one of my coworkers will know. So she walks over to a guy. She's like, hey, do you know this actor? He tells her. She's like, oh, okay, I'll go tell them. And she walks back. And like without a second's hesitation, we just make eye contact. And this is when I knew it was like magical. She said, Nicolas Cage.
We're like, what?
And then this is where it gets better. Yeah. And she's like, yeah. And he sat in the booth right next to you guys. So all of us are just like, what? What? Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, he just came in here and he just started like smashing dirty martinis all night. Apparently, Zed, tell me if I'm wrong, didn't he get kicked out of a Vegas restaurant for drunken indecency or something a few months prior?
Yeah, so basically, no, a few months prior, he was at like some other Las Vegas bar and some guy was like filming or recording it. I don't know if you want to actually pull it up, but he was actually doing like a live like skit or something.
Oh, can you?
Who's screen sharing right
Here,
now?
I'll make you the host. We do this shit live, folks. We do this live.
Do it live.
So basically, what happened is, you know, some guy was at a Las Vegas bar, and Nick Cage happened to be there, and he got really drunk to the point where they basically asked him to leave, and he started basically a real life Nicolas Cage like monologue. Let's see. Nicolas Cage, Las Vegas drunk. Yeah. Las Vegas drunk. Okay. Yeah, I think I found it here. Okay. Let's see. How do I stream my screen?
Gidoosh. Well, I've never done this. Yeah, apparently Nicolas Cage, like we were just asking, he's like, does he come here often? She's like, oh yeah, he's all over the place. He lives in Vegas, which I kind of knew, but I didn't know he actually like came to the Strip and would like go drinking regularly. Apparently he goes always like wearing like, you know, like a hat and sunglasses, and he just orders like dirty martinis, and he's just like doing his thing like regularly.
All right, here it is. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Nicolas Cage caught on camera drunk and rowdy as he's kicked out of a fancy Vegas restaurant.
I just want to point out that he's barefoot.
Yeah, he's barefoot wearing cheetah leopard pants and a black t-shirt. He looks like a homeless person.
Is it wrong that this is exactly how I pictured it?
This is perfect.
Hey, look at his face. Look at
oh my God.
Who are you trying to tell me what to do?
You're trying to tell me what to do.
So Nicolas Cage here is a little bit up. He had a bit too much to drink.
By the way, give me shoes.
He's asking for his shoes. By the way, where's my shoes?
Guys, this is the Nick Cage movie in the making.
He just felt like a kicked out of Larry's in Las Vegas.
Under Armour slip-on.
He's trying to put on his shoe.
Oh my god! Why does he even have a? It's just barefoot. Oh my god!
Trying to walk back in. Oh my gosh! Okay,
I know
so
there's like more to it, but
here's the crazy part. So at that point, we're just inspired. We're like, we want to go ahead and find as many places that Nick Cage has been in Vegas. We go back after Hell's Kitchen, which is best meal of my life, just best meal
So
of my life.
goddamn good.
We go back to Caesars to go back to the Monte Cristo Cigar Lounge, and first, I noticed that SHOT Show was going on at the same time. So we're there, and I see a bunch of people, ironically, a bunch of people that I've had the pleasure and displeasure of working with. One of the people sitting right next to us in our own little booth is freaking Sebastian Gorka, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. He's there with a whole bunch of DC lobbyists and PAC presidents, and we would later pass by the CEO of Bang Energy, who looks exactly like I think his name is Jack Owak, exactly what you think the CEO of Bang Energy looks like. But at this point, we have another waitress, and we're asking her, it's like, well, who's the coolest celebrity you've seen in here? And without a second's hesitation, she's like, "Oh, Nick Cage." And we're like, "Yeah!" And
Yes!
yeah. And he sat in that booth right next to you again. It's like
the second
next to
time.
us.
It's fate.
Yeah, and then I'm like, "What does he order when he's here?" And she's like, "Well, he gets a cigar and he just starts." And I'm like, "He starts downing dirty martinis, doesn't he?" And she's like, "Yeah." Oh, but
We figure out Nick Cage's Vegas routine whenever he's around.
yeah, so it just turned into trying to find Nick Cage. But after that we just we hung out on the strip some more, went back to the Trump International, and I mean that was basically it.
God, just imagine if we found Nick Cage, like for real, if we saw him in person, how crazy our night would have gotten.
What would have been so cool.
hey,
I
you
can't.
boys want to come back to my pad?
You want to come back to my place? We would have had to have said yes.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had a choice.
Yeah, I mean, all I can do to cap this off is say, like, Derek and I got COVID
We
day
did.
later.
And I sat next to these other two degenerates on a plane for 5 hours, and they're completely fine. How? I don't know.
I guess I got the natural antibodies, the natural booster.
We can't touch this.
Yeah. Yeah, and then RJ and I come down at the exact same time with the exact same symptoms.
Guys, I can't taste anything.
Well,
Like,
I
we're
think,
just screwed. Oh my god.
don't we think like the point of like catching it was probably Fremont Street? That'd be most probable place out of everywhere we've been to.
Absolutely. That is the filthiest place I've seen in my life.
Yeah, we caught something shitty over there.
Something. But yeah, I mean, guys, I think this was the coolest trip ever.
Viva Las
Sean
Vegas, baby.
did such a great job of putting it on. I'm so glad that we all got to come together for the most like macho badass trip imaginable. Let's just go ahead and end with our thoughts. Derek, you got to do a lot of shit, from shooting
did.
miniguns to eating cow tongue to almost getting killed by bad beer, and I mean just everything else. What were your thoughts on the trip?
It was honestly one of the best trips of my entire life. Like, I got spent it with the people, like my best friends, and like just doing crazy shit, doing just in one of the most fun places in America that I'd never been to, and just we did so much. Like it may have been just a short weekend to us, but it was like we filled it to the brim with like
There was barely any sleep.
No, sleep is for the weak.
Sleep is for the weak. Zed.
After going to Las Vegas for the first time ever, I've come to the conclusion that Las Vegas is basically if Atlantic City and Dubai had a baby with guns and homeless people. Yeah.
And last but not least, the man who put this all together, Sean. It was the most badass trip imaginable.
Yeah, I mean, when I was trying to plan all this stuff, I'm like, honestly, I'm like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. That, you know what? That's not even at the level that I'm wanting to do. Scratch this. Oh, what? You don't have? I think I actually called like 3 different gun places, and when it caught my eye that you could shoot or run over cars with a tank, and they had miniguns, I was like, Battlefield Vegas, exotic car racing, just balls to the wall stuff.
The big.
The best burger.
Try to convince an actor to sacrifice his freedom and career for a moment of glory.
Yeah, he probably was like, they actually like me.
They love me.
They
really love me.
I guess I've become something of an icon.
I was so like Saturday was when I was at my most drunk. I was so fucked up. I kept trying to tell them, guys, let's go get matching Dragon Country tattoos.
Dragon Country. God, it was God. That look, our knight was with us. He was a true Chad to the end. Like he was out here cheering with us. Like when he was on the rail, like looking at us, he was like, "Ah,
you're my best friends!"
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Well, guys, this has just been a great episode. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We told you we'd give you a recap eventually, and that's not even that's everything that happened. I mean, we can't get into certain details because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but, thank you. This is a great way to start off the year with the Degenerate Panel. We've got so many things changing in our lives. What meant the most to me was the fact that I just got to have so much fun with my best friends, and I'll never take that for granted. So, folks, if you enjoyed this, please go across Al Gore's amazing internet and leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you're cool, if you haven't done that and you're getting this shit for free, give some value for value, motherfucker. Don't just be a sir, be a brother. I'm Remso W. Martinez. Good night.